howdy. Here once again. Today we're going to talk about something that directly relates to, I want to say about 5 episodes when we talked about confidence. And it's something that dominates so many of us and keeps us from being successful in all the facets in our life, whether it's health, whether it's wealth, whether it's relationships, our social status, social lives. Just overall, when left unchecked, man, it crushes. It crushes. And that is fear. Now, when it comes to our dreams, I really love this quote. It's by Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. It's one of Africa's first female presidents, or the first female president in Africa. That doesn't count queens of ancient dynasties and tribal leaders. So she said, if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. Man, that is powerful. And it's so powerful because so many of us resign ourselves to a life of mediocrity. So if you're scared of taking something new on, embrace it. That means you're on the right track. I mean, I am scared of doing this. I've been planning this for a while now. I'm going back into a state of potential welfare, going towards well off, and I'm having to, fully embrace what I'm doing at this point. And I'm restarting my life anew in the aspect of business, in the aspect of relationships, in the aspect of renewed interests and hobbies such as personal fitness, martial arts, and even carpentry. Just things, living my life on my terms. And it's terrifying for so many reasons, whether it's social ostracization, people not believing in you, people thinking you're absolutely nuts, and people saying you have pie-in-the-sky cockamamie little dreams. Well, you know what? Call me Little Jack Horner, and I'm no longer sitting in the corner. My thumb's in the sky poking into that pie, and I'm getting some plums, So, fear is often unfounded, because it's just simply fear of the unknown. I think Mark Twain, who we can claim is a Nevada boy, even though, he kind of got kicked out for dueling and he wasn't born here, but Mark Twain, we have streets named all over after him. Fear is often unfounded, and Mark Twain said it best, and he said, I spent most of my life worrying about things that have never happened. And one of those biggest things, as we were just talking about, is fear of failure. It's better to try and fail than to just try and wonder. And Jim Carrey coined that best in the story about his father, who thought he could be a great comedian, and he never took it up because he was afraid to do it. And I'm paraphrasing, so Jim Carrey, please don't get mad if I botch this and sue me. It's a great story, and it's very, very motivating and inspiring and quite informational, honestly. And he took a safe job as an accountant, and then he lost that safe job as an accountant. So even if you do something safe, you can still fail at it. So why not fail big? Go hard or go home. That being said, I want to talk about the fear of success here. I was talking to my good friend Jesse. I've known him since I was about 15 years old. We are now in our early 30s. I'm 32. And this was about 7.5, 8 years ago. And it's at a time of my life where I was having some moderate success. I had gone from making $800 a month take home to making, around $2,100 a month take home. And that was a big deal for me. I had always been, very ambitious, and I'm like, yeah, I'm doing it. But I've always noticed, man, I get to this certain point of success, and then I just stop, or I sabotage myself. And it's because I'm afraid of the failure. But it's not because I'm afraid of the failure. I'm afraid of the unknown. I've spent so much of my time being drug addicted, career criminal, self-abusive loser, that I don't know what else is out there. I don't know what it's like to be successful. I'm comfortable being a loser, so I'm afraid of losing that comfort. And I'm afraid of that unknown. And I learned later on, I forget who coined the term, I wasn't able to find the blog, probably didn't look hard enough, but they call it upper limit threshold. You're getting to a new stage in your life, and it's like, whoa, I don't know, this scares me, what do I do? And, you just gotta push through. So, I would say just try. Because at least when we try, the unknown becomes known. We know. Now, it's not saying try once and if you mess up, you give up. It's not saying don't commit to labor. You're gonna make mistakes. We're gonna make mistakes. Go back to self-confidence. Take the mistakes, take the criticism, learn from them. Even better yet, take other people's mistakes and their criticisms and learn from them. But the unknown becomes known, and you're going to know after a very short period of time if you're just not meant for this. If you suck at it, you suck at it. Move on, get something else. Not everybody can be great at everything, and in fact, as Tai Lopez mentions in his 67 Steps, great rudimentary program, great fundamentals in that program. I highly recommend it. Most people are only good at one thing. He talks about, the Leonardo da Vinci's who could paint with one hand and write with another. You ain't that. And they're one in I don't know how many hundreds of millions. So that being the case, just try it. And if you're not good at it, move on to something else. But there's ways, and we'll discuss those in later programs, on how you can find out what you're good at. Because everybody's good at something. So, I'm saying this because when we finally do and we start trying things out and going out of our comfort zone, it's conquering those fears. And my God, does it build confidence to conquer. I remember once I got a Harley Davidson. Not my dad rode Harleys. My great-grandpa was named Harley. Yeah, I think it was my great-grandpa was named Harley. Or he named my grandpa's middle name Harley. Something like that. But, Harley's in the family. It's kind of a family thing. And I was afraid to ride a motorcycle. And that's one of the main reasons I got my motorcycle is I'm afraid to drive it. I better do it. I better just do it. And I took it on the freeway, and I was timid at first. Almost got hit by a Porsche. And you know what? Let's just open this bad boy up and see what she can do. And a couple days, I'm good. It doesn't mean I'm not a cautious driver, which I am. Anyhow, so I have a little bit of a call to action for anybody watching this. And that's, think of something you fear. Think of something that fears you. Whether it's a conversation with a woman you'd really like to talk about a relationship and potentially, if you're the marriage type, want to get into a committed, solid relationship and be married to. She interests you. Whether it's public speaking, whether it's taking on a new business venture, whether you're in a current relationship and you're like me and sometimes you have problems bringing up different emotional issues, going in and bringing up the emotional issue in an appropriate way. And, it doesn't mean you have to rush into it without being prepared, but with a certain level of preparation. If it's a touchy subject, of course, read on maybe how to broach it, but then go in, go for it, plunge into it. And when you're doing that, ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen? And think of what's the worst that can happen. And short of death or paralysis, it's probably not that scary of a thing. And say, you know what, I'm not saying doing something stupid to bankrupt your business or end your marriage or something. Nothing like that. I'm just within reason, guys. Figure out what's the worst can happen. Okay, I might lose $1,000. I'm going to embrace it. Okay, I might get into an argument because I bring up the point of consternation wrong. Embrace it. And then, face that one small fear, confront it, go headlong, pull the sword, go into battle, and don't look back. And you know what? If it crashes, accept it. Because in the world of success, fear and failure are actually some of our best friends. Because as we said, if our dream doesn't scare us, it's not big enough. And if we're not failing, it means we're not trying anything new. There was this one, man, I really need to get her name, and I'll talk about it again, but she was an entrepreneur. She made the belts that make women slimmer looking. She was, I think, the first female billionaire ever, and she was interviewed. And she's like, what's one thing that just really drove you? She said, every night at dinner, my father would ask me and my brother, what did we fail at today? And if we didn't fail at something, we get a little bit of a criticism for it. Once again, paraphrasing. One of my first mentors, Ron, told me this story, and it's because he'd say, if you're not failing, it means you're probably not trying something new. And if it's not something new per se, like not a new skill in general, you're not going further out of your comfort zone to hone that already had skill, that craft you're already beating on. And if you win, awesome. It'll just build that confidence. It's a win. It's going to give you that dopamine rush. It's going to make you have those endorphins. You know, if it's with other people, serotonin and oxytocin are going to be coursing through you, sharing the love. But either way, pass or fail, it's still a win, because you are doing what I want to say 98% of people, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, won't dare to do. Push themselves out of that comfort zone and go conquer a fear. So this call to action is a call to battle. The beast is raging in all of us. He's coming out of all the darkest corners in our minds. In the words of Jim Rohn, you gotta threaten back. You gotta fight back. Get your stick and beat worry into a small corner. So with that, hope everybody's having a wonderful, beautiful, successful, productive, whatever time of day, whatever place you are. And let's do it. Have a good night.